Our early days on Dog the Bounty Hunter, people on Twitter and on Facebook started writing messages to me. They were stuck in a bad relationship and their boyfriends were beating them.
If you were a fan of Dog the Bounty Hunter, then you'll definitely remember Baby Lyssa, the tough, sharp-tongued teenager with an attitude fierce enough to run with the big boy. She could chase down fugitives, throw cuffs on a suspect twice her size, and hold her own in a world dominated by danger and drama. But what fans saw on screen was only a fraction of her story. Once the cameras stopped rolling, Baby Lyssa Chapman's life took turns no one could have predicted. Tests, heartbreaks, shocking transformations, and a fight for survival against demons both old and new would come to define her journey. And now, in an unexpected twist, she's back in the spotlight for reasons far removed from bounty hunting. Lyssa Ray Chapman, born June 10, 1987 in Denver, Colorado, entered a world already tangled in chaos. Her father, Dwayne "Dog" Chapman, a larger-than-life bounty hunter with a rock star persona, was battling a crack cocaine addiction. Her mother, Lyssa Ray Britton, struggled with alcoholism, offering little stability for their young daughter. By the time she was 7, Lyssa's life had been a blur of instability and upheaval. When her father moved the family to Hawaii, it wasn't the sun-soaked paradise you might imagine. Addiction, violence, and dysfunction made the picturesque islands just another backdrop for trauma. Instead of spending carefree afternoons on the beach, Lyssa was left to navigate an environment dominated by substance abuse, fights, and volatile relationships. At 11 years old, Lyssa made a devastating accusation, claiming her father had assaulted her. Truth, as she later revealed, was even darker. She had been molested by a close friend of her father's, but lacked the words or courage to reveal the real culprit. The accusation would fracture their relationship for years, leaving Lyssa to carry the unbearable weight of guilt alongside the trauma of her abuse. In 1998, Lyssa was sent to live with her mother in Anderson, Alaska, a remote town of fewer than 300 people. Her mother's battles with alcohol persisted. The atmosphere was quieter, and for a while, Lyssa began to believe in the possibility of peace. She made friends, focused on school, and vowed never to return to her father's turbulent world. Isolation and trauma often find ways to catch up. Just 14 years old, Lyssa became pregnant. Father of her child was 24 at the time, a relationship marked by manipulation and a grave imbalance of power. On June 11, 2002, one day after her 15th birthday, Lyssa gave birth to Abby Mae Chapman in Fairbanks, Alaska. Other girls her age navigated school dances and teenage crushes. Lyssa was thrust into the unforgiving world of teenage motherhood, scraping together rent money by babysitting and living alone in a trailer. When the opportunity came to join her father's bounty hunting business in Hawaii in 2005, Lyssa saw it as a lifeline. Though she had never seen an episode of Dog the Bounty Hunter, her family in Alaska didn't have cable. Packed her bags and stepped into a world she barely remembered. Her arrival was marked by an episode titled "Baby's Back in Town," highlighting her return after 6 years away. Lyssa was thrown into the deep end immediately, organizing over 2,300 old case files and quickly proving she could handle herself on the streets. Her first major case involved tracking down a fugitive on a $50,000 drug trafficking bond. And it wouldn't be long before she was participating in stakeouts, high-speed chases, and tense standoffs. By 19, Lyssa had passed the grueling Hawaii State Bounty Hunter licensing exam, becoming the youngest person in Hawaii's history to achieve such a status at the time. The 6-hour test covered criminal law, firearm safety, arrest procedures, and ethics, and with a brutal 62% failure rate, it was no easy feat. But Lyssa's determination and discipline paid off, earning her badge number BH19870610, a subtle nod to her birth date. Her on-screen presence was magnetic, and it didn't take long for fans to fall in love with Baby Lyssa. Viewers wrote thousands of letters each week, many sharing stories of abuse, survival, and resilience inspired by her courage. Yet fame came with its own set of dangers. In 2009, a stalker was arrested outside Lyssa's home, a chilling reminder of the risks public figures endure. Still, she carried on, balancing fugitive captures and motherhood, often rushing from adrenaline-fueled arrests to school drop-offs. One unforgettable morning in September 2009, Lyssa apprehended a fugitive at 7:45 a.m. and still made it to her daughter's first day of school by 8:15 a.m. That raw, unfiltered humanity made her a hero to working mothers everywhere. In 2009, Lyssa married Beau Galanti in a televised wedding set against the stunning backdrop of Oahu, Hawaii. The marriage was far from a fairy tale. Behind closed doors, the relationship was marked by violence and turmoil. Lyssa later revealed that Beau was physically abusive throughout their marriage, with incidents escalating to the point where she sought refuge at her father's home. Multiple assaults, including a terrifying New Year's Eve attack in 2010, left her bruised and terrified. Though she tried to salvage the relationship through counseling, the abuse only worsened. With the support of her family, Lyssa filed for divorce in 2011, choosing her safety and her daughter's futures over fear. That same year, Lyssa was arrested in Honolulu for criminal property damage and assaulting a police officer following a night of heavy drinking. It seemed like just another headline about a reckless reality star was, in truth, the eruption of a storm that had been quietly gathering for years. The incident wasn't just a drunken outburst. It was a desperate cry for help from a woman drowning in a lifetime of heartache. Witnesses recalled that night as chaotic and heart-wrenching. Glass shattered against pavement. Obscenities filled the humid Hawaiian air. And Lyssa, once the composed, tough-as-nails bounty hunter viewers admired, was reduced to a furious, grieving daughter, lashing out at a world she felt had abandoned her. The confrontation with law enforcement turned physical, and when she was finally subdued, the arresting officers later described seeing not just rage in her eyes, but profound sadness. Media pounced, splashing mugshots and sensational headlines across tabloids and gossip sites. To the outside world, Lyssa Chapman was a troubled reality star, spiraling out of control. But what those headlines didn't capture were the years of emotional scars that had driven her to the breaking point. Behind the cameras of Dog the Bounty Hunter, Lyssa had weathered relentless family drama, unresolved trauma from a deeply fractured childhood, and the suffocating pressure of fame. Privately, friends close to Lyssa revealed that she had been quietly battling anxiety, depression, and the crushing grief of personal losses that never made it onto television. The death of her mother, Lyssa Ray Britton, years of estrangement from certain family members, and unresolved pain from past abusive relationships had created a storm of buried emotions. And that night in Honolulu, it all finally boiled over. In the aftermath, rather than denying the incident, Lyssa took responsibility. She entered counseling, spoke openly about her mental health struggles, and distanced herself from the relentless demands of reality TV. It became a turning point, the first step in a long, difficult journey toward healing, redemption, and reclaiming her life away from the tabloid spotlight. That chaotic night, for all its heartbreak, marked the moment Lyssa Chapman stopped running from her demons and started confronting them. In 2013, Lyssa took control of her narrative, releasing a memoir titled Walking on Eggshells, Discovering Strength and Courage Amid Chaos. In its pages, she exposed the raw truth of her life. A childhood marked by abuse, addiction, and loneliness, a teenage pregnancy with a much older man, and years of navigating an unstable family dynamic. The book struck a chord with readers, offering hope to those fighting their own battles. Dog the Bounty Hunter, Lyssa pursued a new path, opening a tanning salon in Honolulu, and later advocating for teen mothers. She believed society too often shamed young girls, or turned them into tabloid fodder. She wanted to offer a different narrative. In time, Lyssa also found love again. After surviving the torment of her first marriage, she met Leanna Evanson in 2016. Connection blossomed, and in 2022, the pair married on a beach in Hawaii in an intimate ceremony surrounded by family and friends. Though Dog wasn't physically present, still grieving the loss of Beth Chapman, he was there in spirit, supporting his daughter's happiness. Lyssa's relationship with her father, Dwayne "Dog" Chapman, had always been a complicated, emotionally charged bond, a mixture of fierce loyalty, lingering resentment, and a desperate need for connection. For years, the two navigated an uneasy closeness, often clashing over personal choices and the constant scrutiny of life in the public eye. When Beth Chapman, Dog's beloved wife and Lyssa's stepmother, was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2017, those old wounds quietly reopened. Beth's illness brought the family together physically, but emotionally, the fractures ran deep. Lyssa struggled with watching Beth, a woman she both admired and had bitterly feuded with over the years, slowly lose her battle. While cameras captured tender family moments, behind the scenes, tensions simmered. Old arguments, unresolved hurts, and years of miscommunication resurfacing in whispered conversations and sharp glances. When Beth passed away in June 2019, it left a gaping hole in the Chapman family. But the mourning was far from unified. Just months after Beth's death, headlines exploded when Dog began a relationship with Moon Angel, a longtime family friend and Beth's former personal assistant. To Lyssa, it felt like a betrayal, a deep personal wound reopened. She didn't stay silent. Lyssa took to social media, calling out both her father and Moon in a series of blistering posts and interviews, accusing Angel of overstepping boundaries and exploiting a grieving man. The public feud gripped tabloids and entertainment news outlets for weeks. Family insiders revealed that heated phone calls, text exchanges, and even threats of estrangement tore through the Chapman clan. Lyssa's heartbreak wasn't just about Dog moving on, it was about losing what little family unity they'd fought so hard to maintain. But time, as it so often does, softened the sharp edges of grief and anger. In the months after the chaos surrounding Dog's controversial relationship with Moon Angel, Lyssa began to realize the toll it was taking, not just on her father, but on herself. The Chapman family had always been a storm of strong personalities, tangled loyalties, and old grudges. And while Beth's death had devastated them all, it also exposed just how fractured those bonds had become. When Dog eventually found love again with Francie Frayne, a Colorado rancher and widow who had also lost her spouse to cancer, it was different. Francie wasn't chasing tabloid headlines or stirring up online drama. She was quiet, kind, and understood the unique ache of losing a life partner. Slowly, Lyssa's heart began to change. Conversations, shared memories of grief, and witnessing how Francie grounded her father in a way few others ever had. Lyssa started seeing not a replacement for Beth, but a chance for her father to find peace. It wasn't an overnight reconciliation. Still hard conversations, tears shed in private, and moments of painful honesty. Admitted in interviews that she struggled with letting go of the past, not just the controversies after Beth's death, but a lifetime of unresolved tensions with Dog. For so long, their relationship had been built on tough love, public spats, and unspoken disappointments. But as Francie slowly became part of the family, Lyssa saw how her father softened. He spoke about faith, redemption, and the healing power of second chances. And those words, so often empty in the past, finally began to mean something. In 2021, when Dog and Francie married in a private, emotionally charged ceremony in Colorado, some family members chose to stay away, unwilling to accept the new chapter. Lyssa was there. Standing by her father's side, she made peace, not just with Dog's choices, but with the complicated, painful, and strangely beautiful mess that was their family history. In that moment, Lyssa realized that love in all its flawed forms was worth fighting for, and that even broken families can find their way back to each other. In recent years, Lyssa has candidly addressed her own battle with addiction. Having grown up surrounded by substance abuse, she fell into drinking young. By 15, she was already a mother, burdened by responsibilities and unresolved trauma. Arrests, public breakdowns, and family estrangement followed. But in 2021, everything changed. One night, Lyssa's beloved dog fell critically ill. Too drunk to drive to the vet, she sobered in the waiting room, staring at her ailing pet, asking herself, what if this had been my child? A moment of clarity ignited her sobriety journey. By December 2022, Lyssa proudly announced she had been sober for 18 months. In a heartfelt public Facebook post, Lyssa Chapman laid bare the scars she had carried for so long. It wasn't a polished, PR-approved statement. It was raw, honest, and unapologetically human. Acted on the darkest chapters of her life, battles with addiction that nearly consumed her, the haunting memories of childhood abuse she had tried for years to bury, and the painful, humiliating public moments that made her a target for tabloids and armchair critics alike. Lyssa admitted there were nights she didn't think she'd survive, when the weight of grief, betrayal, and self-loathing felt unbearable. She spoke of years spent chasing validation in the wrong places and numbing her pain with alcohol, reckless decisions, and toxic relationships. But through it all, there was a flicker of hope she never entirely lost. She credited therapy for giving her the tools to confront the traumas she'd spent years avoiding, and support groups for surrounding her with people who understood the messiness of recovery. Most of all, she spoke about her daughters, Abby and Madeline, as the anchors that kept her tethered to this world when everything else felt like it was falling apart. In that post, Lyssa didn't paint herself as a victim or a saint. She was simply a survivor, flawed, scarred, but still standing. Urged others battling their own demons to believe in second chances, to seek help without shame, and to remember that even the most broken hearts can heal. It wasn't just a post, it was a declaration of resilience, a promise to herself, and an outstretched hand to anyone else still fighting in the dark. In early 2024, Lyssa Chapman surprised fans and followers alike when she dropped a cryptic post that hinted at a return to her bounty hunting roots. After years away from the adrenaline-fueled world of fugitive recovery, Lyssa announced she was renewing her bail license, a move that instantly set off a wave of speculation among Dog the Bounty Hunter loyalists. Beside a throwback photo of her clad in tactical gear, badge in hand, she captioned it with a line that sent a jolt through her fan base. Chapman name isn't done yet. The post was shared, liked, and commented on thousands of times, with fans begging for a Chapman family reunion show or at least a behind-the-scenes docuseries chronicling Lyssa's return to the streets. While she hasn't confirmed a new TV deal, insiders close to the family hint that talks have quietly been happening about reviving some form of the Chapman legacy for streaming platforms. But bounty hunting isn't the only arena where Lyssa is making waves. In recent years, she's fully embraced a new, unexpected identity as a lifestyle influencer and OnlyFans creator. Far from the tough, no-nonsense bounty hunter image fans remember, Lyssa now shares sun-drenched selfies from Hawaiian beaches, motivational posts about healing and resilience, and candid glimpses into her life after the cameras stopped rolling. Through her social media platforms, Lyssa has built a loyal, tight-knit online community, one that celebrates both her flaws and her victories. Whether she's posting about family drama, personal growth, or throwback photos from her bounty hunting days, one thing is clear: Lyssa Chapman is far from finished writing her story. If there's one enduring lesson that Baby Lyssa Chapman's story leaves us with, it's that second chances aren't just possible, they're vital. And perhaps the most life-changing second chances are the ones we learn to grant ourselves. Lyssa's journey isn't a clean, linear redemption arc neatly packaged for television. It's messy, painful, and deeply human. A troubled teen who felt abandoned by the adults meant to protect her, to a young woman battling addiction, toxic relationships, and the crushing weight of public scrutiny, Lyssa's path was littered with obstacles that could have easily broken her, but time and again, she chose to fight, not always gracefully, and not without mistakes, but with a determination that spoke to something unshakable inside her. As a fearless bounty hunter, she chased fugitives down dark alleys and across state lines, earning a reputation for grit and resilience. As an abuse survivor, she confronted her past and gave a voice to experiences so many keep hidden. As a mother, she built a home of her own, a sanctuary of safety and unconditional love for her daughters, determined to break the generational cycles that had haunted her family. These days, Lyssa continues to evolve, whether teasing a return to bounty hunting or forging a new path as a lifestyle influencer and advocate for mental health, sobriety, and self-worth. She has redefined what it means to carry the Chapman name. No longer just tied to handcuffs and camera crews, Lyssa represents resilience, the unglamorous, relentless kind that comes from surviving your darkest nights and still waking up determined to keep going. The story is a reminder that comebacks aren't reserved for celebrities or public figures. They're possible for anyone willing to face their demons, own their past, and believe in something better. Lyssa Chapman's legacy isn't just about bounty hunting or scandal. It's about endurance, forgiveness, and the radical courage it takes to start over, again and again.